Either a rough day for Purdy or a daring day for Purdy. Now, there's no video of it, so it's like Will Chamberlain's 100-point game. I don't know. I'm going to take your word for it. Brock threw 4 interceptions to close out yesterday's practice. This on the heels of an interview where he said he wanted to be dominant. Here's Kyle Juszczyk.
That's the thing.
Just kind of going off of just Brock, the 3 years that I've been with him, that, he's a super competitive guy and he expects a lot of himself. But he always seems to handle those things well. He's not throwing a temper tantrum or anything like that. But he's still hard on himself. Putting the pads on, the pass rush starts to get a little more real. So it may take a day or two to adjust. But I'm not here to make excuses for Brock, so I'm sure he'll speak on that.
Okay. Brew, is your confidence in Purdy beginning to waver?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? Brock Purdy? The guy that as a rookie stared across the field and saw the GOAT, Tom Brady, and goes out and throws 2 touchdown passes and has a 134 passer.
Toe-to-toe with the GOAT.
The guy that as a rookie went 3-0 without Deebo Samuel, one of his Avengers, as Nick.
How did he do without Deebo last year?
The guy that threw for 330-plus yards and 3 touchdowns in his playoff debut as a rookie. The guy that answered, Nick, the worst stretch of his career last year. 3 straight losses, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Cleveland.
Was concussed for one of them.
Yeah.
Yes. He answered that stretch by throwing 17 touchdowns, 2 picks in the next 6 games.
Yeah.
The guy that answered the Christmas Day debacle, where he threw 4 interceptions on national TV, everybody's watching, he flies out of the MVP race, which he had been in, and he answers that by leading 2 come-from-behind victories in the playoffs to get them to the Super Bowl and walks off the field with the lead.
Yep, that's right.
That I'm supposed to not believe in him because of 2 bad practices? When that's what's on his resume? No.
Okay, so
it's going to take a lot more than that for me not to believe.
7 interceptions yesterday.
It was 2 bad practices.
No, I'm not even talking about the first. Listen,
7 yesterday, whatever. Yeah.
7's
too much.
7 total. Over
No,
the last 2 days.
Well, certainly 100 would be.
Right, but I'm asking you because Brew, every single thing you said was independent of how he's played in preseason. So all of your
2
evidence,
practices.
right.
Is that
so
a full preseason?
No, up
Okay,
to this
go on.
point. So
I'm gonna listen.
what I'm saying is, it sounds like there is no amount of interceptions he could have thrown yesterday to make you concerned.
No, there has.
Because all of that. Wait, listen,
I don't. That's a good question. Because he started yesterday's practice.
He was 7 of 7. I've got it. You gave the history of his career. I'll give the history of yesterday if I may for a moment.
If he had thrown an interception on every single pass.
Okay, so there is something.
The issue is this. There's no way I'm going to overlook a 17-4 start to your career.
Yeah.
The best. Now, I know he hadn't played enough games yet, but passer rating for his career of 111. The all-time best for a career, obviously much more of a sample size, Aaron Rodgers at 103.
103.6.
So that he started off to a great career. I'm not going to throw that out the window. After 2 practices, I guess if he goes out there, I don't know what he would have had to do.
If I may, maybe I shouldn't have opened the door back up because I'm gonna go here for a second. I don't think the question is, does yesterday make you think Brock Purdy's a bum? It's beginning to waver. Is there a little bit based on the fact that this is the sequence of events as I see it? Brock Purdy talks to Mike Silver and says, I'm chasing Tom Brady. I want to.
Just to be fair, he didn't say I'm chasing Tom Brady. He said he wants to be dominant in a Tom Brady. He didn't say I'm chasing Tom Brady.
You.
You're the guy who's a stickler for words, man.
Thank you.
He didn't say I'm chasing Tom Brady.
Okay, all right. If the audience thought I was giving a direct quote there, I apologize. I think it would have been very clear when I finished my sentence what I was doing. But regardless, this is the sequence of events as I see it.
Go.
He gives an interview with Mike Silver where he says he wants to change the way he's playing. Sure. Again, not a direct quote, I'm paraphrasing. Where we have a lead, and instead of being careful, go for the jugular. where I took it as chasing Tom Brady being like, I want to be like Tom was. Not chasing him for 7 Super Bowls and 3 league MVPs. I want to be more Tom Brady-ish. That interview happens. He then has a practice where he throws a hat trick of interceptions, and I show you guys the tweet from Jimmy Garoppolo's practice 5 years ago when he threw 5, and you guys were like, well, he didn't throw 5. And then yesterday, when I was gone, we find out that after starting 7 of 7, on the next 8 throws he has, 4 are picked, 2 are dropped picks, 1 is a dump off to use check, and 1 is an incompletion. So a couple drop picks away from 6 interceptions, which maybe would have made you concerned, maybe not. I don't know. So I think Brock Purdy is the most interesting player in the league this year. Because if he does try to be something he's not, which is prove to the world, I ain't no bus rider, I'm a bus driver, it'll kneecap the Niners. And if he just plays within colors inside the lines, as I think he has very well, better than Jimmy Garoppolo did for this Niners team, we are going to probably have a lot of the same debates we had last year. I'm not the only person that is concerned about this. Brew's favorite publication, Sports Illustrated, had a whole article about Brock Purdy, and I'll read you a big chunk of it because I think sometimes I'm painted as the bad guy. This is Sports Illustrated. The 49ers don't game plan for practices, and every quarterback benefits from a good game plan. During the regular season, Purdy usually has all of his elite weapons, plus his future Hall of Fame left tackle, so someone's open on every play. He just has to find the open man, deliver the ball accurately on time, which he can do. A lot of quarterbacks could do that if they played with Purdy's weapons. But Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk haven't practiced yet this offseason. So instead of having 6 All-Pros around him, Purdy has 4. Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, and Kyle Juszczyk. And Purdy doesn't play well when he has less than 5 or 6. Doesn't play as well, thank you. As well when he has 5 or 6 All-Pros at his disposal. Makes you wonder how he'll play when the 49ers give him $60 million per season and can't afford to surround him with 6 All-Pros anymore. Again, that's not Nick Wright. That's 49ers reporter for Sports Illustrated, Grant Cohn. Now, it sounds a lot like what Nick Wright thinks, but that's from Sports Illustrated, who I know you respect because you quote them all the time, what they said.
That was an odd article. Because it started out like Purdy's great and he's showing everybody that, and then it did kind of go negative to your point. So it was I didn't know which way he was going. Because if you read it, so at the start he was talking about Purdy's proving he's great. No, hardly anybody denies that anymore. So, but no, look, if this, I don't know if this is a product of him being more aggressive. And Coach Mangini made great points yesterday. In practice, you oftentimes try to make throws that you wouldn't in a game. See what you can get away with. You're testing your receivers. Can they, are they going to make this catch if I throw it here or there? Can I get in this tight window? So a lot of times you may be taking risk that you would not take in a game. But you are right in that if he is of the mentality, I'm going to go out and be more assertive, more aggressive, then we'll see.
Yes.
High risk and definitely potentially high reward.
No doubt.
But definitely high risk too.
So this is the high risk, high reward thing you're talking about. This is a play from November against the Jaguars. I don't even remember this. Ayuk comes down with this.
Shanahan said it was worst play of his career.
Shanahan said that was like one of the worst decisions he's made since he's been here. It took me a while to get over it. I thanked him for the touchdown, but that was not a good decision. So I think when he talks about being dominant, this is the type of play that he says, you know what, I can make it. I know we talked about the training wheels a little bit with Mac Jones, but there, Brock is like proving that he can do a little bit more than maybe Shanahan thinks. Will it end up maybe in the wrong team's hands every once in a while? Maybe.
But related to that, I'm glad you showed this highlight, Wiles. Shanahan came out immediately and said that was a terrible pass.
Yes.
Right? If Purdy continues to do this throughout preseason, I mean, I don't think Shanahan would let this go on very long before he's like, look, I don't know what you're trying to do, but we got to the Super Bowl. We got within 3 or 4 points of winning a Super Bowl. Let's do what you've been doing to get here. Like, I don't think it's going to be like if Purdy continues to struggle in practice like this that they're not going to say anything to him. They're going to put him in check.
I can't tell if he's struggling. I don't know.
I can't tell if he's struggling.
It's hard.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I'll give you an example. I tweeted it flippantly, but Aaron Rodgers threw 6 straight touchdowns against the Jets defense, and I wrote, "Oh, so much for that vaunted Jets defense." I don't know how much stock to put into preseason statistics.
So I think that. I think that if the Jets were running red zone, right? Mm-hmm. Which means I don't know if they were at the goal line, the 5, the 10, but they were running a drill where every single play is happening at the 20 or inside. Mm-hmm. The Niners were running their full, I forgot what they called it, ball movement, meaning as a real drive is what they were trying to do, offense, defense, and Purdy was throwing those picks. I think you can have sometimes inflated touchdowns when it's like, hey, we're going to run 5 straight plays from the 5-yard line, whether you score or not. The picks thing, to me, when they are charting what his completions were, when they are 11 on 11, and he starts 7 of 7 with 2 nice deep touchdown passes, and then all of a sudden on an 8-play stretch has 4 picks and 2 drop picks, there is no, to me, that's why I pushed back on you don't know how he did. He did poorly. The answer is that was a bad practice for him. Now, it is just a practice. The reason I brought up the quotes and the practice before is, I think if you're Brock Purdy, this is such a unique season where it is man, if I play the safest football imaginable, don't take any chances, I'm basically guaranteed $100 million. You know what I mean? But that goes against who athletes are, how great competitors are. You know what I mean? If he's just I'm going to play, I'm going to put my numbers, the way I think Russell Wilson played last year, essentially. You know what I mean? But that goes against who athletes are. That's why I find it so interesting that we saw the first ever kind of chest-out quotes from him, and then back-to-back hat trick plus of interceptions.
All right, so here's Brock on his upcoming compensation. Take a listen to this.
We've seen, you mentioned the business, Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa in recent days get these huge contracts. How much do you pay attention to that, knowing that your contract time will come up next year?
I mean, that's great. I'm happy for those guys. But, for me and this team right now, man, we got to focus on 2024. And this season's so long, man, and there's so much stuff that you go through. So to get caught up in what the years can look like down the road or anything like that, to me, that's pretty nonsense.
Okay. Brew, what are the chances Purdy gets paid here?
I think he gets paid. Now, I think he'll play well. That's why I'll get paid. But I don't think he's the guy thinking about money. Like you said, he's thinking about $100 million. We all want to get paid. I don't think he's thinking, I got to go out here and get $60 million. I think he's like Mahomes.
I don't.
And you think he
makes $1.2 million less than the punter.
Oh, I thought you meant he's not even making 1.2 million.
No, he's
900.
So Mahomes I'm making what's his take home 45?
I mean, average 45 million.
45, and you're making 55, making 40. All right.
No,
I'm making 980, and Jordan Love, who I'm better than, is making 45.
And also, when Mahomes got the 45, it was top of the market.
Right.
It's not anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying he doesn't want money, but when he made the quotes about Tom Brady, I want to be dominant like that, I don't think that was coming from a place of I want to be dominant like that so I can get $100 million or so I can get the $250 million contract. I think it was coming from a place of competitiveness where I want to be this good. If Brock Purdy, after the way he started his career, was not thinking, man, I want to be great. I'm not saying Brady, Mahomes, great. I want to be great. I want to go down as an all-time great. I would think there's something wrong with his ego. There's a deficiency there. The way he has started his career, he should be thinking, man, I want to go ahead and have a great career because he's had such a great start. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's more thinking about that than the quotes about being more assertive, more aggressive. I don't think those are rooted in getting paid. I think they're rooted in wanting to be great. And if he's great, he will get paid. So, I think he'll have a year at least as good as last season.
Then he'll be
so I think he'll end up getting paid. But
if he has
we admit, if he goes out there and, wets the bed, then yeah, there's a chance he doesn't
Okay,
get it.
I didn't know that you felt that way.
I mean, if he plays,
has a bad
I don't think he will, but yeah, if he has a bad year, I think they got to rethink.
So, listen, if he has the year he had last year, he'll be the highest paid quarterback in the league temporarily until the next guy jumps him. That's what'll happen. But I think some people look at it as that's barring catastrophic injury, that's essentially already guaranteed. And the Niners' history,
even if he plays poorly,
even if he has, I mean, I think there's a floor on how poorly you can play for this Niners team. If you you look at Jimmy G, his healthy years. What was the worst year statistically?
Well,
what was their worst year?
They had great years.
Right, exactly. So I think Jimmy G is the floor. Like, I think Purdy's better than Jimmy G was, but if he were to have a bad season, man, Kyle Shanahan falls in and out of love with quarterbacks very quickly.
He does.
Jimmy G took them to the well, I don't believe he took them, but was the quarterback for a team that went to the Super Bowl. The next year, played mediocre and got hurt, played 6 games. They draft Trey Lance. And it's not a Jordan Love, man, what do you want from us? You know what I mean? They trade 3 first-round picks to move up, and all the reporting is doing it, not even knowing exactly which quarterback they want, but knowing we've got to get a quarterback because we're so out on Jimmy G. That year, Jimmy G, they go to the conference championship game with Jimmy G, and they turn his key card off. Right? And then it was because of everything that happened in the offseason when Jimmy G and his surgery, he comes back, Trey gets hurt. The rest is semi-history. So the point I'm making is, if C.J. Stroud this year has another great year, then it doesn't matter what he does in year 3. He's getting a huge contract. This is where the Avengers piece and the draft pick placement piece will work against Brock Purdy.
Draft placement. Because a lot of guys Tua has remarkable weapons and a good play call.
Right. Absolutely. Where the Niners,
so where you're drafted
will work against him. He has to be excellent again, or else the Niners will make him wait and be like, no, we need to see it another year, and there's nothing you can do about it. At least that's how I feel, given the Niners' history at that position.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, as much as I like Purdy, if he struggles this year,
you would have reservations.
I mean, I would just make him wait. I might give him some, I'm not giving him $250 million.
You want to wait for everybody.
I want to wait and see.
Drew always wants to wait, and he always expects that this is the player that doesn't care about money.
I just think he's more like a Mahomes or Brady, where it's like, I'm not worried about being the highest paid absolutely in the league. That's all
I think he is.
You think so?
Man, he is a bad ankle injury away, not put it out in the universe, from getting a real job, not like a real job. Hey man, I'm like 28 and I need to pay my mortgage.
When he comes up, you said he's going to be the highest. Let's say he has a good year again. He's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I don't know. I mean, he could get in the Trevor Burrow, that range. Now, he may get more because it's another year.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But he may not be the absolute highest.
But I mean, I think, there's no, listen.
If they win the Super Bowl, sure.
Jordan Love strikes me as a great guy, team first, all of it. Yeah, I'll take the most. I'd like the most money. Trevor's a great guy. I'll take the most. All of the guys, when they come up, take the most.
Also, you owe me.
That's the other piece.
Did Lamar? Was Lamar's the most?
Lamar fought.
But I don't know that it was the most
and nail
at that
for
time.
Everything. It was
52.
52.
They owe him back pay.
No, he'll be up there.
Obviously. Super Bowl, you pay me $1 million.
To be fair, Burrow signed after Lamar. So yeah, Lamar was the most, then Burrow came in over the top.
Right. Who called Aaron Rodgers the Michael Jordan of the NFL? And does Brew have an issue with it? Next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel.
Really?